Hey, Tuesday night in Alaska, Total Schmidt Show. Let's do this. Total Schmidt Show Season 3 is upon us. Tune in every week. I talk to entertainers from all over the world. Singers, dancers, comics, musicians, drummers, blah, blah, blah. All kinds. Techs, even some cruise directors. Most of the entertainers I talk to work on cruise ships. If you ever wanted to know what entertainers do, how they get through their day, any of the behind-the-scenes stuff about entertaining, we'll talk about that stuff here, as well as we'll delve into some of the entertainers and some of their works, some of their albums coming up, some of the things they've done in the past, things you can look forward to in the future. All that stuff you can catch here on Total Schmidt Show. But either way, get yourself a pizza, a beer, some bourbon, light up a cigar, or some sort of joint, or whatever type of crutch or vice you need to get through the evening, and sit back and enjoy whatever it is I put together this week on Schmidt Show. Hey, it's Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in to Total Schmidt Show, whether you're watching it or just listening on the pod. If you're watching, you'll see I'm in a food court in an airport, finishing up this video before I get on the Carnival Liberty. And if you're listening, just pretend I'm on a rooftop in LA somewhere, like a pool area, doing that type of thing. Anyway, it's Total Schmidt Show. Thanks for tuning in. I talk to entertainers. Subscribe to the podcast if you're listening and you have not done so. I would really appreciate it. It's all about likes and follows these days, people. So do me a favor, give listen to the show, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. Please do that for me. And you can go to LennySchmidt.com and subscribe to the pod and get updates, and you can just see all the pods. It's like $2 a month, something like $5 a month. No, $2 a month. Yeah, $2 a month, $20 for the whole year for like 40 podcasts. That's pretty good. That's a great deal, I think. That's what I think. Last week I was home in Los Angeles, and I got to do a show at the Comedy Chateau, and I thought while I was there I'd reach out to a comic friend of mine in the LA area, Brenda Pontiff, who's originally from Houston. We talk about it quite a bit here in some of the Houston comics and the old school legends out of Houston. Some of the work Brenda's been doing. Brenda's an old school comic. She's been around a long time. She's a pro. I always love having pros on the show that talk about what they do with their show, structure. We talk a lot about working on your act, writing new jokes, how open mics have changed over the years. It's a cool podcast. I like this podcast a lot. We had a great time talking. So do me a favor, sit back, enjoy, listen to my conversation with the one and only Brenda Pontiff. You wanted to start with Jimmy Pineapple.
Well, I was going to say, Jimmy's going to look at this and go, what? Brenda's obsessed with me. No, I was saying that, no, every podcast that I do, it seems to be that we wind up talking about Jimmy Pineapple. So I thought we ought to just start with Jimmy Pineapple because we're going to wind up getting there anyway. So.
There we go. Smart. Well, I love Jimmy, so I have no problem talking about Jimmy.
I do too.
When was the last time you were back in Houston?
Oh, gosh. I was there in February of this year. I did the Margaritaville resorts thing, which is what some of the Houston comics are doing that. Right. And not just Houston comics, but other comics. And but no, I haven't seen Jimmy in person in
Well, they have
forever.
a line now, too.
What?
They have a line, too.
Yes, they do. They do.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But I haven't seen Jimmy in person in a long time. I just stay in touch with him, and I know that he's doing a lot with the Outlaw comics. And he's rebranded the Outlaw.
Yeah.
And so and they were on TV today, and he's got Andy Huggins, he's got T-Shawn Shannon, he's got Rob Mungle, right. He's got others. I'm slipping here. I think Billy Dee Washington. So it's a good group.
Yeah,
it's a really good group of wonderful Texas comics that he's taken out and doing shows together and stuff. So that's really good. But it's funny because it starts with a conversation about how a lot of the younger comics don't know the history of comics,
right.
and they don't know how Houston plays an integral role in.
Yeah.
Some of the greats.
Significant role.
Yes. And I consider Jimmy one of the greats. Andy Huggins. T-Shawn Shannon has always been one of my favorite. I always tell T-Shawn he moves up when somebody dies, on the list because he's still living. And T-Shawn, when you watch T-Shawn, you can see the Bill Hicks influence in his cadence.
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah, you can feel that cadence. But yeah, I mean, so I love it. I tend to, when I'm backstage in a green room and a young comic asks me, when I hear I'm from Houston and they ask me about Bill or Sam or whatever, I just immediately gravitate to those comics who are interested in the history.
Right.
And because there's so many that aren't, and they don't know who these people are, or they don't, if you say Boston, like I know Boston, I know Stephen Wright, and I know who came out of Boston or San Francisco,
or whatever, yeah.
And I know who came out of San Francisco, and of course I know who came out of New York, and I mean it's I think my responsibility to understand that.
Well, if you come from the city, you should know who the people in the city are.
Yeah.
Especially again, we think differently now. Both of you and I come from the same generation.
Mm-hmm.
These younger comics seem like they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of comics don't really care about. I don't know if they care about being good comics.
I don't think they do. Some of them.
They care about getting likes and follows and making money on the internet.
Yes.
And that's their big thing.
Yes.
Like I've mentioned this a handful of times on the show. Like when I would go on the road and go play Oklahoma City or something like that, they'd have Tuesday or Wednesday would be an open mic. Be a bunch of micers would be up there, and I'd close the show, and the show would be over, and they all be gone. And I go, "Where are those kids at?"
Yeah.
And they go, "Oh, they left right after sets," and you're like, okay, and I'm not saying you should stay and watch me, obviously.
No, I hung out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I met a lot of people, was living in Houston. And like the last stop, I was the MC for a long time, kind of the house MC and I would meet the feature that was coming in from town and the headliner. And so when I moved to LA, I knew some people.
Right.
And I remember hanging out with Lenny Clark, and hearing stories, and he was saying, "You ought to move to LA. You're ready," and you're going, okay, this is, but yeah, I mean, to me, that's part of it. The hang is part of the joy.
The hang was really cool.
Yeah.
Because you could just go to, when you lived in town, when I was in Chicago, and even when I was in Chicago, I started in LA, but I was from Chicago, and went back to Chicago to study improv. And I used to study improv for like 8 weeks in downtown, and then go on the road for 8 weeks, and then come back. And I did this balance for years.
Yeah.
But when I was in town doing improv, I would get a side job to make money. I was featuring mainly on the road and headlining B rooms. But I went and hung out in the clubs just to see who was there. Like if I knew someone if I knew a friend featuring for the week, I'd go hang out.
Right.
Whether I did a spot or not. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't.
Right.
But the hang was cool, and that's how you met all those guys.
Yes.
And you learn so much by watching people work a room.
Yes, you do. There's nothing like it.
Right.
There's nothing like it. And I don't see that. And now I guess they feel like they don't really have to work a room because they're just going to put a clip on social media.
And it doesn't matter if it's funny or not.
It doesn't.
Or good. How many times you see a guy do 30 minutes in a club or 20 minutes in a club and then see one clip online the next day and it gets a laugh and you're like, I saw his whole set. And that was not. Yeah. That's the only laugh he got for 25 minutes. Yeah.
The one clip.
Yeah.
I think the whole industry has completely changed. And, I left for a long time. I was gone.
Right.
I think 1999 may have been my last show. I think the Democratic National Convention was in town, and we did like some kind of political free speech show there. And I think that was my very last show. And I didn't go on stage again until 2014. I was in Houston, and I got talked into it. And then I was just sort of dabbling. I came home to LA, and I did a couple of open mics. And then it was 2022 that I really started back.
Right.
So, I mean, I was really gone for a long time, and I wasn't paying attention to it. And I have to say, I was very at peace and very happy.
I was so much happier when
I
wasn't doing this shit.
I was so happy, and there was a part of me that was regretting it.
I know.
And I wasn't. There's years of material that I didn't write down that I would say to coworkers or whatever, and I'm like, I should have been writing that down, but I was done. I was never going to get back on stage again.
Right.
And then somehow I got pulled back into it, and it is like it's an addiction.
Yeah.
It's a drug.
Sure.
And so now all the angst is back, but the angst is even bigger because I'll scroll through social media and I will see. And I guess I get mad at myself. I go, why did you leave? Because there's some really horrible people that have surpassed me now that have nothing to offer.
Right.
But they're out there, and I'm like, I should have stuck with it. And I'm like, even if I'd stuck with it, doesn't mean that I would have, because
the advantage you have is you can walk right back in, right? Because you're good. You're obviously.
Thank you.
I mean, you're great. And I got a ton of respect for you.
Thank you.
Because you hang around LA and do spots. Mm-hmm. That's a life I fucking hate now. You know what I mean? I don't. And
I understand why.
Right. And the UBG gig I loved for a while.
I love that too.
It was a lot of fun for a while.
Thank you for doing it.
For a while it was great because it was people like you and people that were pros and people that even stopped and never went back. Jeff Tully would come out and other comics that would just hang out. Yeah. And that was the hang. That was the hang we were talking about.
It was the hang. And the occasional little tag that somebody of great, would throw me a tag, and I'm like, Yeah, I can't believe he's talking to me.
So you
he
gave,
threw me a tag.
Well, you got something. You got jokes out of it. You got, you know what I mean? You could be there all night long, hang out all night long. You'd get 1 or 2 jokes, and they would end up in your act later. And that was the whole process of building it.
Yes.
So I love that. But to go out and hustle and get spots everywhere, like the spot we're doing tomorrow at the Chateau, I haven't reached out to them in a long time, but I just felt like doing a spot in town this week.
Yeah.
And that's one of the clubs that I can just call up and just
get a spot. Yes.
Yeah, and there's a few all do that.
Yeah.
And
Well, they're very friendly and very nice.
They're great.
Yeah.
And
they
every
really
once in a
are.
while, I get the same blowback or the same thing from the improv, but I rarely ask for a spot, and that's why.
Yeah.
Something will be like, I need a spot, and they're like, okay, but I don't do this hang around try to get on shit anymore. I can't. I just don't have the energy for it.
Oh, it's mind-boggling.
And
it does take a lot of energy.
And at some point, you deserve a little bit of. At some point, you deserve a little bit of. That's one thing that the improvs were good about for a while. I don't know what they're like now, or the store. I've been back there in a while. But they used to be good about respecting comics that had at least been around for a while. There was a time. Are you a regular in the improv, or were you?
I was a regular at the Improv in the 90s, and I have not been back up on stage since I started again. And it's been this weird thing where I'm like, people are like, well, just call Rita. I'm like, I don't know. I've never met Rita. You know, I know Dee, who the former manager, and then, people go, oh, just hang out at the bar. I go, I'm not going to hang out at the bar every night. And so it's like, and I've even thought, I have a friend that does documentaries, and I said, we should just do a documentary on Brenda Pontiff trying to get back up at the Improv.
That's a great idea, actually.
Have a camera follow me around, and how many people do I have to talk to, and who do I have to beg? Because it's all celebrities now. But
it's almost like an offbeat version of Comedian.
Yes,
like Seinfeld's Comedian. You know what I mean? It's like
exactly.
from a different angle.
From a different angle. But I was a legitimate comic there. Bud liked me. Mark really liked me. Bud tolerated me. Mark really liked me, and now I'm like, I would love to go back up there. I would, but it's a whole process, and. I don't know. It's just that it's a lot of work just to get up, and then you want to be working on your act. That's the other thing. Is a lot of people are working on their social media presence, and they're not working on their act.
Right.
And to me, the joy of it is, I love writing a new joke that works, or tinkering with it until it does work.
Yeah.
And that's the fun of it. All the other stuff, like I'm an introvert. I'm not really great at networking, and I'm not good with people. In fact, I don't even like people.
Right, sure.
Like a lot of most.
So there's a lot more comics like that. I'm kind of like that a little bit.
I kind of think it's the talented ones.
Yeah.
That are.
Well, thank you very much. I'll actually take that.
Well, no, you are, and it's the ones that. If you're introverted and you've got issues with ADHD, which I do, there are things that I can't do socially that other people can do socially, and they can get way ahead of me in this game, and yet when they're on stage, they don't have it.
Right.
But I'm like, yeah, but they're so good. Hi, how are you?
Oh,
and they're just,
I know.
And
it's almost like a deaf, dumb, mute sense thing.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes. My brother said, he goes, so you're an actress. Why can't you just go into a club and act like? I go, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Plus, it's a long night.
Oh, and I'm tired. When I've done my set and I say hello to a few people and I'm friendly, I really, after a while, I want to go home unless it is like the hang that you had. It was comfortable, but it's not comfortable if there's a lot of people I don't know.
Right.
It takes energy. It really zaps my energy to be around people.
Well, that's why that UBG thing went away. It was because it ended up being, at one point, there were 2 in a row I did where it was just me and mostly open micers. And I'm like, and the people stopped hanging. Yeah. And I don't really blame the people because I couldn't find a way to get a decent crowd in there.
Yeah.
It's a tough room to play.
Yeah, it is a tough room. Yeah.
A lot of comics like to work on stuff and come into a tough room, but then you get to a point where it was annoying. There's the pool people, which is the fucking thing.
God, yes.
I felt like I was back in Wisconsin again. I'm like, what am I, Jesus. And the whole time I'm up there reading an intro some guy fucking gave me. He played guy number 2 in Police Academy 75. And then I'll get off. It was Police Academy 76, dude. That was guy number. And I'm sitting in the bar going, why the fuck am I here?
Right, why am I doing this?
None of my friends are here right now.
Yeah, right.
But for a while, the hang was great, and it was a really good time. But I liked hanging all night. And the other thing is I didn't do a lot of material at that gig. I just ended up hosting it.
Right.
But I would open up the show, but I did it that way on purpose. But I worked on material and did something cold in front of a cold room.
Yes.
But guys just stopped showing up. And I can't, and I couldn't do it consistently. I couldn't say, the second Monday of every month. I did that for a while.
Right.
But then it changed so much that
Your schedule is yeah.
And
I
I'm
get
like,
that.
we're talking, like, I couldn't even, the owner, she's very sweet. She got back to me. She wanted me to book it again. She's like, you should come back. And I go, I just can't.
Yeah.
And I'd be in town for 3 days, and that was the one thing I did. And then it became not fun. And I go,
yeah. And scheduling comics is also that's
it is
yeah.
like there's
It's
like
hard.
we're talking about the social media kids now, but there was a group of open micers back when we started, and they're still around. They're the comics that go up, and they're just not good.
Yeah.
And they do the same 10 minutes that they've been doing for 10 years.
Well, this is the issue that I've had, and I don't mean to sound mean, but in Houston, what I loved about Houston was if you weren't good, they told you to go home.
Oh, that's great.
And they told you to your face, you don't have it,
Yeah.
or there's something there. Come back in 6 months. You know, something. They weren't completely. Because somebody. You have to kind of watch somebody a couple of times to tell that they have no talent.
Right.
But in LA, because people are making money off of the open micers, they really do support the business in a way because of all the bringer shows and everything like that. So
Well, the Bringer Show changed.
Yeah.
Well, Bert House was like that at Zanies in Chicago too.
Yeah.
He would do a show. If you weren't good, he would tell you, this isn't for you.
And I think that's nice.
I think it's great.
And there are people that God, how do I say this?
And if you think they're wrong, go prove them wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Go out,
Exactly.
get better. Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't think it's mean to tell someone, you don't really. There's nothing funny about you.
Right.
Somebody told you, like sometimes somebody says, somebody said I could read the phone book and get a laugh. I go, well, then maybe you should read the phone book because I think it's funnier. Because you're not getting a laugh from your jokes just because you have a funny voice. And there's a lot of that too. Funny voices and funny accents.
Plus,
and,
you know what? There's funny for 30 seconds or 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And then there's 5 minutes on stage or
Yeah.
10 minutes on stage.
Yeah.
Let alone an hour.
Yeah.
But
nobody is sitting down and saying to these people, you're really good at social media. Maybe you should do something else.
Right. Well, there's so many. That's the blowback that the cruise ships are having, I think, with some comics now, is they're bringing in newer comics. But if you start dealing with comics that are in their 30s or younger, there's a lot of that generation that didn't put work into being a good comic.
Right.
And they don't focus on doing it a whole show.
Right.
And their theater shows, especially, they'll do a theater show. And it's just basically 45 minutes and good night. And you're like, well, that's not really a structured show.
Right.
There's a certain structure. I can't remember who else I talked to about this, but if you watch a full special, you get this. And I think Robin Williams told someone this, who told me secondhand. Like Robin Williams is a great example because I'm a very high energy. I'm high energy, and Robin's high energy.
Yeah.
You can't be high energy for 60 minutes.
No.
You can't.
A
crowd can't take that.
You get worn out, they get worn out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And at some point, it's too much for everyone.
Yeah.
So there's an ebb and flow of a
Yes.
show. So you got to know when to read it, when to go, when to do the whole thing.
Yes.
Like on a big show, a full show, I'll do my newest stuff around 20 minutes, usually. Sometimes I'll open with it, but in around 20 minutes. But then around the 30, 35-minute mark, I'll start to wind it down, and I'll go into my closer, and I'll close hard for 10 minutes. And it's a whole, but around the 20 to the 30 mark, it's a little bit more of a little more thought stuff, or a little more newer, or a little more point of view stuff, as opposed to just working the crowd and telling jokes about my kids.
And they'll stick with you. They'll stick with you because you're a professional and you know how to do that.
Right.
Yeah,
And you also know how to word the room.
Right.
But that's the ebb and flow of the full show.
Right.
And then a crowd it's also it's a physiological feeling you get when you watch a show, like when you watch a movie. Like a real good movie, you'll think it's over. Like I always think of The Lord of the Rings as a great example, where things happen 4 times where I'm like, oh my God, it's over. And you're like, oh, it's not.
It keeps happening.
Oh my God, it's not.
Yes,
and then it's
yes,
over. You're
yes.
like, no, it can't be over.
Yes,
You're like,
yes.
But your body's been trained to think, oh, this is the third act, and now we're going to go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's
denouement, all that. Yeah.
It goes all the way back to age of Greek times, the hero's journey. We're built to listen to stories a certain way.
Yes, story structure, absolutely. Yeah, and I always say that because like a joke is just like a line in a song, but a song has a bridge, and and then you put a song inside of a musical.
That's brilliant. Well, that's a great analogy. That's a really good analogy.
Yeah.
Because you can't just keep doing the chorus over and over again.
Right.
There's got to be a bridge. There's got to be the rest of it for a full show.
Exactly, and that because I just started back again in 2022. I'm really working on. I'm really trying, but I don't do long sets very much because I'm in LA a lot. So I'm taking these gigs that. Because I want the long stage time, and because I need to work on that. And I want to crescendo out on my top joke, and I want to get all that back.
I still have that closing, the big closer.
Yeah, I want to get all that back, but that really takes work. And what's so funny is like these younger comics, they'll get on social media and they'll also rag on that. I hate it when other comics think they're funny, and I'm like, well, what about you?
Yeah.
Why are you ragging on other comics when
judgy.
you've been doing it for 2.5, 3 years and you've never done the road?
Right.
That's another thing. They do these 5-minute shows everywhere. They've never. It's not just doing the road. It's like the travel and the dealing with the booker and the club owner and I mean everything that goes into it. The whole business
is just a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's 1,000 times tougher for a woman.
Oh,
you know what I
gosh,
mean?
yes.
Like I was able to live out of
Yes.
my car for years.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I just ended with a booker who there was a booking in one state, and then she has another booking behind it in another state, and there's 6 days in between, and she's like, oh, just find some one-nighters to do it, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know how to tell you this, but some of the guys that do that gig are sleeping in their car.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be doing that. And I could afford to spend money on a hotel, but I don't want to lose $1,000 every time I do a gig. And I'm a professional comic, so I think, the other thing about being a female comic, it's so hard to explain to people. Networking and being a professional is very difficult around certain men. And I'll tell you a story that I think exemplifies this. When I had first moved to LA and was working at Igby's, I was standing, I'd done my set, had a good set, and I was standing there with Jan Smith. I think it was Fred Greenlee. Do you remember Fred Greenlee? And there were several people standing there. And this comic who kind of well known from Boston, I knew who he was, came up to me and he said, "You're funny." And I don't say that to many female comics, but you're really funny. And I said, "Thank you very much." And he walked off, and Jan says, "Do you know who that is?" And I said, "Yes, I know who that is." I'm not saying who he is now, but anyway, so I told Jan, I said, "Well, he does a show in Echo Park with these people that I would love to do." And Jan says, "I'm going to give you his number because he really thought you were great." So a few days later, I called this comic up and I said, "Hey, I met you a few nights ago at Igby's and you really liked my set. And I was wondering if I could come to your show." And he goes, "I'm married."
Seriously?
Yeah. And I said, "Good for you. I'm not calling to hook up with you, sir.
I want some stage time.
And you said I was a good comic. Now, then I became even questioned, was I a good comic or what? What was he doing? I believed that he thought I was funny. And I'm like, it's so insulting that the men in the business would think that I'm calling you because I'm a girl and I have a crush on you.
Right.
No, I'm a serious joke writer and I'm a comic and I love this business and I'm calling you because I want to get on that show.
Right, right.
And there was another one who is sort of famous, who I think is a wonderful comic. He tells a story. He told this story in front of a guy that I was dating a couple of years ago. We went to one of his shows, and he said, "Oh, yeah, first time I met Brenda at the Improv, it was after the show. I was standing on stage, and she was flirting with me until I got off stage, and she saw how short I was." And I said, "First of all, why are you saying this in front of the man that I'm dating?"
Yeah, plus also an incredibly narcissistic point of view to take.
Right, that I was flirting.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. And the guy that I was dating, on the way home, he goes, "Believe me, I knew that you weren't flirting with him."
I knew immediately.
But what I was doing was I was in awe of his talent, and I thought he was taller because I'd seen him on TV. I'd never seen him in real life.
Right, right.
And when he got off stage, my face did drop because I was like, "God, this guy's short."
Yeah.
But I was in awe of his talent, and he is a brilliant comic. And it's not that he's a horrible guy or anything. It's not that I would never flirt with you. But it was like I wasn't flirting. I was networking, trying to get to know you, in awe of your talent. And then you turn it into Brenda Pontiff was flirting with me at the Improv. I'm going, no, I wasn't.
You could automatically. I've never had good radar for when someone's flirting with me. I've always missed it. I've always been the opposite. Like if I think you're flirting with me, I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "What do you mean?" I go, "Nothing. I was wrong." What? Nothing. But if you are flirting with me, I wouldn't know till years later, and so I was totally flirting with you that night.
Right.
I go, "Fuck! How did I miss that?"
I know!
Jesus. So I'm almost enamored with someone. They can look at someone and go, "They're flirting with me."
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah.
I just
know.
never
I know.
had
Well,
that.
how confident of you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I've never had that ability.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always had to go back to the room and go, "Dude, I think there's a girl out there that might like me. I'm not really sure. I'm a grown man, 50. I think a girl likes me."
Well,
But to look at a crowd, plus when you're on stage and you're telling jokes, you need to be connecting with the audience anyway. Why would you assume they're everybody reacts to humor different ways? Why would you think someone's flirting with you from the crowd or whatever, the room or whatever?
Well, I've seen a lot of girls, civilian girls that aren't comics, who get all starry-eyed about comics, and I'm like, well, be careful. I know comics.
Be careful what you wish for.
Be careful what you wish for. Yes, and so you kind of like roll your eyes and go, whatever, good for you. And but it's like to be a girl in the business. And I've dated a couple of. I mean, I haven't dated many comics. Actually, I dated one in Houston. And partly a great comic who partly the reason why I started dating him was that he was the first one to notice that I was writing good jokes, and he was very well respected. So when he said, "Hey, Brenda Pontiff can write a joke," and all the guys started staying, watching me and talking to me, he kind of got me in.
Oh, good.
You know,
right, yeah.
And he was brilliant. I mean, I didn't enjoy dating him after a while, but his cadence and I mean he was really smart. And then I dated for a very short period of time. I dated a guy who was a writer who had been a comic, but he was a writer when I met him, and we didn't date very long at all. I want to keep that separate, I guess. Or
I've only dated 2 comics in my entire career.
Yeah.
2, and it's
hard, don't you think?
Yes, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I had hard no time being a comic of my own. You know what I mean? It's a little different now because I'm working and I'm on the road. I'm on ships and I'm not hanging out trying to get spots and But I know comics that date and travel together. You know, I don't know how you could do that.
I don't either. I mean, I don't know of too many.
I'm not knocking it.
No. It's great if you can. I just think God, the constant joke writing and tagging and. That must get
it's such a heavy ego business.
It is.
For you, like to have someone go, that's not funny. Like I can take that now, but if it was from my girlfriend or spouse, I guess I could probably take that now. But coming up, I definitely couldn't take that.
Yeah.
If a girlfriend said it wasn't funny, I'd be like, oh, fuck you, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Like I was like that with jokes for a long time. There was just a lot of jokes I wrote there. People like, it's not funny. I go, yeah, it is. I want to keep it.
Right.
And it was like
right.
angst thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was wrong. I look back now, that joke was never funny. What was I thinking?
Well, but that becomes an awkward thing when somebody says you should do it this way, and then you try it their way and it doesn't work, and you're like, do I appease them? Do I,
Right.
But I will say this too about being a female comic and being a feature right now, because I'm headlining in some smaller venues and stuff, but I want to get back to being a headliner.
Yeah.
But I have work to do before that happens. But being a female feature, the only way really to be a female feature is to be dating or married to a headliner.
Yeah, that's true.
And
for you can't make a living.
To work economically, it works very well for them.
Yeah,
Because,
that makes sense. You're
yes, it really does. But if you're on your own. And you're driving with a headliner or whatever, and I usually pay for lunch, and I usually because I had a career before, I had a different I had a business development career before that, so I'm in a different boat than they are, and so I'm like, okay,
Well, that's the only way it works is if money isn't really that much of an issue.
Right.
Like a lot of I can't remember. There was a few comics I met that were features over the years. It's been a long time. They had regular jobs that made a really good living.
Right.
But wanted to get out of what they were doing.
Right.
But they could go on the road and they drove a good car and all this stuff.
Yes.
And you knew immediately like they have money.
They have a different they have a day job or they inherited.
Because like when I started out, you can make it. I could when you're on your own, you have no responsibilities. I could kind of make a living as a feature.
Yes, I could too. I did. Not a lot, but I had a day job, and then I took off a couple of years and was mostly featuring and trying to do it. I made okay. It wasn't great, but
I did that for a while, but everything I owned was in my trunk. So, you know what I mean? So I would bounce and work out of areas or whatever.
Right.
But I would also, I want to go to Vegas for 2 weeks and just go, you know what I mean? I could do all that shit.
Right. But easier for a guy than a girl.
100% easier.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until I had daughters.
Yeah.
And I had a girl on a podcast years ago. She was great. Her name was Kira. She's a beautiful singer, amazing voice, powerful voice. Anyway, she's from Australia, and I made the comment on the podcast. I go, she wants to work the U.S. I go, you should just get a car and just and drive cross country and do gigs. And she goes, my father would fucking kill you for saying that right now.
Yeah.
And it hit me like right then. I go, oh my God, that's a total stupid thing to say. That's a dumb male, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you want to call it? It's the word I'm looking for now. Is the male fucking, what's the one they're throwing at? Male privilege? That's it.
It's
a male privilege thing to say.
It is a male privilege
Why don't
thing,
you just drive your car all over the country?
Right.
I can't do that. Why not?
Right. In the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Sleep
crash in the rest area for 6 hours.
Right. And that's what they, that's the thing. That's, there was a gig I did years ago for Jeff Valdez Comedy Corner.
God, Colorado, right?
Yes, Colorado. Yeah. And I was in the condo, and the headliner, again, being a girl, the headliner said, "Don't pick up the phone anytime this week when the phone rings." This is before we had cell phones. I don't want my wife to know I'm with a woman. I go, "You're not with a woman.
Yeah.
I am a professional
That's on you.
comic.
I'm answering the phone, asshole.
I'm not with you." And he kind of started creeping me out. And so the first 2 nights I slept with the thing under the door, the chair under the door. And then I went and got a hotel. I went and stayed at the Broadmoor, and Jeff goes, I'm not paying for that. I go, I didn't ask you to pay for that.
Yeah.
I'm paying for that. It was lovely. The Broadmoor was lovely.
Yeah.
And I'm like, plus the condos always bothered me because they're gross. They don't clean them.
I never cared about condos.
after the show.
I could live anywhere.
Yeah.
After living in a car for a while.
Oh, but
Condos, no big deal.
But again, it was difficult. I like I said, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm a comic again. I love it. There's parts of it I absolutely love. I mean, like talking to people like you, and you just there's a reverence to, and I've loved jokes and comedy since I was a little kid, and you put yourself into this, and I guess that's part of my issue is like we're of the same generation. Is that these younger kids? I feel like an old curmudgeon. I'm like back in my day.
Yeah.
But I really think they're not respectful of.
Well, every
the
generation
process.
has that. Like every single generation from the beginning of time has the generation that goes, "You kids today," and then the young kids are like, "You guys are too old."
Right.
But one of the things I think about a lot, and I'm really concerned about, is being able to keep live stand-up afloat.
Yeah.
And talented live stand-up.
Yeah.
Because so many people, it's such a short-term thing now. It's everything's short attention. It's all digital's, So that's why I mentioned earlier, I don't know if it was the part I'm editing out or not, but Carl LeBeau was a big influence to me because I've never seen anyone work a room like Carl LeBeau.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen a lot of guys kill a room. I've seen Sam kill a room.
Yeah.
I've never met Sam, but I've seen him.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of guys kill, destroy, but I've never seen anyone work a room like Carl LeBeau.
Yeah.
And I've seen him do a packed room and a room with fucking
Just
8 people.
Nobody, and he could still do it.
And it's
still working it. Yeah.
Mesmerized.
Right.
And I would,
right.
he was when I was studying improv in Chicago, he would come and play Zanies, and I would always made sure that I was the MC that week. Bert always set up, and I watched every set.
Yes.
I watched everything he did.
Yes.
And it was just something about working a live room is a talent. And working in front, like you said, when you get up, you said something earlier about somebody gets on stage and they don't, they're 10 minutes in their set, or they're just a couple minutes in their set, and they're not hitting it. You don't have it. You're not hitting it.
Yeah.
You gotta, at some point you gotta learn that. I mean, being funny is kind of, it's kind of in you,
right?
And you can learn to write and structurally be correct. But the ability to work a room is something that you learn,
right?
And something that you can master.
Yes.
And if you want to,
right. Well, it's almost like they have a tone deaf ear or something. They're not hearing that there's no one getting it, or they're not hearing.
I get a lot of people. I killed. I go, no, you didn't.
No,
kill.
you didn't.
I was,
what makes you think
there.
that? Usually that means
your bar's way down here.
Yeah. People, when you have numerous people laughing at the same time. For longer than a second or two.
Yeah.
And then you hear, like when it's fun to play back a set where you did feel like you crushed, and you hear somebody in the back that's just dying.
Right.
Just dying, and you're like, oh God, I love that sound. I love that sound. It's music to my ears.
See, I usually I don't think it goes well, and then I listen afterwards and go, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was good.
Yeah.
But it's a whole killing is nonstop laughter for the whole time you're up there. That's
right.
Pretty much killing.
Right.
Killing doesn't mean you did one killer bit.
Right. No, it means the whole time. Yeah, and that's why, I feel like, okay, maybe that's why I am doing a lot of the short sets, because I can kill in a short set. And the longer sets, I'm having to I'm really trying to find my footing again on a longer.
Right.
Because when I start, I know I have a long way to go.
Right.
And I'm trying to develop that sense of, and then, like I just had a booker tell me, oh, don't do any crowd work as a feature. And I'm like, well, I'm not a crowd work type, but I acknowledge things that happen. And I think maybe he was referring to there was a small crowd. Somebody came in late and he was mad, and so I said, "Oh, Mister, you don't look like you want to be here. Are you mad?" And he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to be here." And then I started playing with him a little bit, and then I got him to smile.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I don't really consider that a lot of crowd work. And then I went right back into my material.
Right.
But you have to kind of be in the moment and be in the room.
Well, this is interesting you bring that up, because I did a show in Dallas. I brought this up a couple of times just a few months ago, and the guy that went up before me on the Saturday night shows, I had a hard time following him. It's been a long time since I followed a guy, and there used to be a day when they told you not to do any crowd work as a feature,
or an
opener.
Right.
It was it. But the problem is that crowd work is such a big deal now.
Yeah, everybody
does it, and some guys, that's all they do.
Yeah.
And they go up and as a feature, you can work the crowd to death to 30 minutes, walk away. Now your headliner's like, well, no, I can't fucking talk
Right,
to
trying to do
anyone.
material, because then the audience is like, oh, they're going to talk to us, and it's all be about me.
Well,
and
or
it's
the
like,
opposite.
it
If you're
becomes
a headliner, like I work the crowd quite a bit. And so if you want to work the crowd, you got to watch the guy before you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got to know, okay, he's already done that. He's covered this subject. He's dead. You don't want to go where you're from. What do you don't want to rehash shit.
Right.
So I found myself, I didn't learn it till the second show. Because and not only did he do crowd work, we worked almost identical, the same format, the same type of way, very high energy. We worked the crowd. Also, when I work the crowd, I'll hit numerous people. On a long show, I'll hit numerous people. I'll bring them in and out throughout the show.
Right.
And at the end of the show, I'll button it all up with all of them.
Yeah.
And this guy did the exact same thing.
Wow.
And I go, that's my whole fucking act. I go, now I got to. So I had to just mainly worked on my newest material.
Yeah.
Plus, I was working clean that week.
Yeah.
And he was not.
Oh,
like not even a little.
that's it's hard to follow.
So, which I usually don't give a shit about.
Yeah,
that. I'm confident enough to do a clean show after a guy that's filthy as shit.
Right,
And just go, whatever, I'm clean.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is.
Yeah.
But we work the crowd the same way. So, like, if I would have run in the room, I would have said, if you wanted to go up before me, I would have said, okay, don't work the crowd. But that was his whole act.
Yeah.
His whole shtick was that.
Yeah.
Or a big part of it.
Well, I mean, but there's a difference between working the crowd and then just making a few acknowledge. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
But
like,
it's easier in a
Yeah.
feature situation because you're only doing 20 or 30 minutes.
Right. And I want to do my material.
Right now, right.
I want to.
But if you go up and work the crowd for 20 or 30 minutes, you suck that out of the room.
Right.
So as a
Yeah.
headliner, that's even part of your show.
Yeah.
You've got to do just straight material.
Oh yeah. No, that's I certainly understand the
Which I can
dilemma.
do,
Yeah.
and I've seen guys do, but it also takes away from my show, and it doesn't do. It's not what I want to do, and it's not what people that came to see me want to see. Like I know there were people that paid to see me that know what I do.
Right.
So what I did was I started watching the guy before me and just started piggybacking his crowd work. So it was like one big crowd work show.
Yeah.
But now crowd work is such a big deal that everyone does it. I don't think people are understanding, and maybe it's just me being an old man. People understand the difference between crowd work and the fact that all you do is crowd work.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah.
And-
That's a different.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the first time I ever followed Jimmy Brogan, I got up and I said, wow, that was fantastic. And, because I honor Jimmy Brogan, I said, but I was going to pretend that you guys weren't even here.
That's funny. That's very funny.
And it worked.
That's
and then
hilarious.
I just went into my jokes because I'm like, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't yell out where you're from because I'm not going to be, I'm not doing that,
Electrician. I don't care.
I don't care.
I'm good. I'm good.
Jimmy already covered that. Yeah. So, yeah, it's... oh God, there's so many, isn't it? Being a singer
Jimmy's
would
so
be
good,
easier.
though,
Oh, I
too, by
love
the way.
Jimmy.
I can't,
love
we're
Jimmy.
doing this thing tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And if you,
he'll be there tomorrow night.
Well, I
yeah,
love when he
yeah.
closes the show after 25 fucking comics
Yeah.
and works the room. It's just
Yeah.
brilliant. He's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
the best at it.
Yeah. Oh,
Great.
he's a master at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always like when my friends come, I'm like, you have to stay. You have to stay to watch
That's Jimmy Brogan, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know if
Jimmy
you mentioned
Brogan.
his
Yeah.
last name. But yeah, you gotta watch Jimmy Brogan.
Yeah.
Just work.
Yeah. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's just so smooth with it.
Oh
too.
yeah. He's been doing it forever.
But
And
now
he's confident.
The way Matt Rife has made it, and not just Matt Rife, because Matt obviously has marketed who he is, and I wouldn't knock him in any way, shape, or form. He's extremely successful. He is who he is. He has a brand. He has the thing. But the thing is, that so many comics, not Matt Rife, but so many comics put up 1 to 2 minute clips of them working the crowd, and that I'll do most of my stuff online is all crowd work.
Yeah.
And I do that for a reason. I don't want my material to go up there, but I got to keep a social media presence.
Right.
But I think when people watch it, 2 things happen. One is comics go, oh, that's what being a comic is. And then they just do crowd work. And sometimes crowds are watching this shit and showing up and ready to throw shit out.
Oh, yeah.
And get involved.
They wanted, they're like, oh gosh, I remember somebody did a funny bit years ago on one of the comedy. He did a bit about being a professional heckler and going, yes, next week I'll be, I can't remember the comic's
that's
name, but
funny.
next
That's
week I'll be
very
doing
funny.
this, and then I'll be in Chicago doing, and I thought,
I'm in Chicago getting kicked out of the funny firm. And
and that's funny just to think, I'm going to go from club to club to be a professional heckler. But they love the attention.
Right.
And then you get someone who doesn't understand. And then, and you have to control them, and I've had that
well, you got to
too, where
control the
you
room.
know.
That's where it goes
Yeah,
back to the
yeah, yeah.
little Carl thing. Carl
Yeah.
always found a way to keep the upper
Right,
hand control. And I
right,
came from
right.
that ilk. I did a gig in Oklahoma City once. Did you ever do that gig for, who was it? Damn it, they're gone now. Damn it, the owners, they were the legendary. The husband and wife.
I never did Oklahoma City.
Damn it.
But I bet you they had rooms in Texas if they were up in Oklahoma.
No, they ran the room for Jeff Jones. Did you ever work for Jeff Jones? Jeff never had a room in Texas.
I know who he is.
But he had rooms in Oklahoma City and all over the place.
Yeah.
It was, I want to say, it wasn't Pat. It was something else. Cliff. I can't remember. No, Pat and Cliff are Wisconsin. I can't remember. Anyway, there was a club that comes in Oklahoma City. And apparently, I didn't know this, but... he started heckling during the show when I was on. He was heckling. And to the stage left, there was a group of 5 older women, black women in their 50s. And I started doing it about my mom, and I started messing with them, and they were great. And I said something to them, and he responded. And I go, or he was sitting right in front of me. He was sitting in front of me. They were here. So he responds. I go, dude, I'm not even talking to you. And then he just kept going. So I got off him, went back to them because they were having fun. And then he started again. I go, dude, I'm not even. So, and he's with this date. And I just, he wouldn't stop. So I buried him. I buried him in front of his date. I go, I made it a whole first date Tinder. How long you been dating? She goes, their second date. I go, obvious. And I made fun of him in front of her. And it was just, the crowd's laughing. She leaves. It was a whole fucking thing.
Oh, wow.
He complains. It was a fucking
Well,
nightmare.
he's not going to get laid that night.
Yeah. So after the show, I get pulled aside by the owner. And I remember the owner. I can't remember her name. She's driving me crazy now because the club is closed. She'll be pissed if she hears this. So she doesn't listen. She pulls me aside. She goes, what happened with the guy? And apparently the part I didn't see was he came in before the show and announced to the crowd before the show even started, I'm a little bit of a heckler. I just want you all to know that I do it pretty much everywhere I go. Usually get kicked out. Usually happens quite a bit. So just giving you a warning. Just letting you know. And I had no idea any of this shit happened. I was sitting out front with friends at the front bar drinking. So I do the show. And when he left, he went to the owner and says, I have 1,000 followers. I'm going to bury you online. So she pulls me aside. She's like, why would you do that to the guy? I go, are you fucking serious right now? Yeah. I go, did you ask the fucking DJ or there was a sound guy? I go, did you ask the sound guy what he said before the show? He goes, yeah, I know, but you still can't. I go, what do you mean I still can't?
Whoa.
I go, I can't believe you don't have my back on this. Why?
Yeah,
And I didn't even say anything that bad.
Yeah, I'm the comic.
He got all butthurt and fucking left. I go, his date fucking called an Uber and fucking left. Right. I'm the asshole.
Yeah, no.
But he left with this whole outrage. And the women, by the way, were great. I sat down with them and had a drink after the show.
Right, they were having fun.
Oh, God, the rest of the crowd was dynamite. But one guy that wanted to be the center of attention.
But it sounds like that bit, that guy, a professional heckler going from club to club.
But people show up to a show and think they're going to, I can't wait to get my moment here.
Yeah.
Now, if they show up and they think that they're going to be part of the show, you can almost get away with that now because the format's changed so much that they can be part of the show and you make fun of them. And they're part of we're all having fun.
Yeah.
There's a difference between saying something and blatantly heckling to be a dickhead.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
There's not many more of this blatantly heckling to be a dickhead anymore. Because even the rest of the crowd is like, hey, shut up.
Yeah.
We want to all have fun.
Right.
Not one guy.
Yeah.
So I think the crowd, and I respect comics that don't do any crowd work because you just do material. My brother Mike doesn't do any crowd work. He's mainly a joke guy.
Yeah, he's a joke writer. Yeah.
And a lot of comics just don't do it.
Yeah.
But I've always liked to add a little bit here and there. But it's so much harder to walk that tightrope now because people expect it, and then other comics think that's comedy, and you go. And you can't. It's not comedy. You got to be able to do. And can you do it consistently every night, and do it on the road or anywhere? Like you can go work the room. You can work the fountain in fucking Van Nuys and kill, but can you work that same room in fucking Wisconsin?
Right.
And do well because they're not laughing at Victory Boulevard jokes in Wisconsin.
Right. Oh, that's the other thing is the local stuff. I'm like, that's nice. Well, I'd say the local stuff. And then there was the alternative comics for a long time where I'm like, you just try that at the Funny Bone in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, there was the basically you were blurting out premises for 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm like, try that in Baton Rouge and see how that goes.
Yeah, why don't you button that up a little bit? And then, and then like with anything, once something gets a little bit of heat, fucking LA falls all over it. Yeah, and it becomes the new thing, and then everybody in LA is like, well, this is what the future is going to be.
Again, that goes back to our own sense of I want to belong, because I would go to some of those shows and you would just see the audience members. I belong. I'm cool. I'm hip. I'm here. And I'm like, people on stage aren't going to talk to you afterwards because you're nobody to them.
Right.
But you think you're part of this thing. And I'm like, why can't we just acknowledge what's really, it's like the Emperor's New Clothes, it's,
that's true.
It's very, okay, that's not making me laugh, but I'm going to laugh anyway because it was a reference of something that, I know one comic, I'm not going to say who, but just would reference '70s rerun shows like Brady Bunch and all that kind of stuff. Just make a reference, and we get a huge laugh, and I go, that wasn't a joke.
Yeah.
That was interesting, and maybe that you could make a joke, and you could go further.
Who remembers the A-Team?
Right? Yeah. Woo!
Woo! $6 million man. Who's
with
me?
Yeah. I killed.
Yeah.
I mentioned 670, and I killed. Or doing the theme from Gilligan's Island. I killed. That's.
There's no. You just basically you're cheerleading an audience. We used to call it cheerleading, but now it's called, what's it called now? It's gaslighting? Is that right?
Pandering?
Pandering. That's it, pandering. Somebody clap. Or when you ask for applause, it always drives me crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Who's with me?
Yeah, who's with me? Yeah.
Although I ask for applause a lot. So
I do it too when I do my big I'm engaged bit, and I get applause for being. They're so thankful that an old woman like me could get engaged. They're like, "Woo!" I'm like, "Yes."
Are you engaged?
We broke up.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
No, that's so funny because that becomes a whole thing too about people after the show asking
material.
me, and like, I don't want to talk about it, and
Sure.
And I'm like, but I'm working on my tight 45 headlining thing, and I'm keeping it.
Sure.
He's okay with me keeping it.
Sure,
He's
yeah,
fine
yeah.
with me, and so yeah, it becomes a whole thing about but yeah. But it's but it gets a huge laugh, and it gets the just saying that I'm engaged gets a big applause, and it shouldn't be an applause break, but it's an easy.
Yeah, but that's a human reaction to stuff. Also,
yeah.
I had this conversation. I've talked to other comics about this, but John Campanella went through a huge issue with this, and a lot of comics went through it when you got divorced.
Oh,
Like a big part of my act, like John, you can watch John in one show. John would do a joke about his wife, his girlfriend, and his fiance all in the same show. And I go, John, you have a wife, girlfriend, and a fiance. Yes, I know. I can't figure out how to fucking balance it out right now. I'm in the middle of a thing. And I go, I know. We used to joke about it all the time because when I got divorced, it was like murder for me. Most of my act right when I got divorced was about being
married
and going to family therapy,
yes,
and husband, and
right.
trying to be a good husband.
Right.
So, and I talked to Jimmy Pardo was talking about this, and I go, I don't feel right telling those jokes. And Jimmy goes, the crowd doesn't know.
Yeah.
The truth.
They don't.
Go, I know, but it's bugging me.
Yeah. But I don't like it when other comics give me a bad thing about, oh, well, you're not being truthful, and and I'm like, well, it is true. There's seeds of truth in all of my bits.
Sure.
And actually that particular bit, for the audience who doesn't know me, I do a thing about, I dated somebody who had performed a colonoscopy on me, and it's a true and it's what got me back into comedy, because after
the colonoscopy,
when he waited a while and stuff, but he waited.
Oh, he didn't ask you at the spot.
No, but I knew,
before you go under.
No, I knew when I came out of. I was having trouble coming out of the propofol, and he canceled all of his appointments, and he was sitting there waiting for me to come out. And he's not even the anesthesiologist; it's not his problem. But anyway, I knew he liked me.
Oh, right.
But it took a long time, and so I was calling all my girlfriends and talking about how hilarious this is, that this man performed a colonoscopy on me, and he's madly in love with me. And I'm like, what did he see up there? So I was. And my friends were all laughing, and I would call another friend, and I'd like work on my bits with this friend, and they're like, Brenda, why aren't you doing stand up anymore? And I go, I don't know, but I said this bit, and it's that bit that got me back up.
Oh,
on
that's
stage.
awesome! That's a great story.
Yes, and so that's I owe it to that. So when other comics want to chit chat about it, I'm like, we broke up, and then I run away because I'm like, I don't want to get into details.
Sure.
And I'm not even ready to talk about it a lot of the time.
No, and you might be eventually, and then you'll write about it, and you'll do. But that's like your life changes too. Like I didn't do much stand up for when I moved to LA from 2000 to where are we at now? To maybe 2011. I did stand up in town. I worked on the road maybe 4 weeks a year, but I didn't do a lot. I did mostly acting. I did a lot of commercials. And
oh yeah, and I've seen you. I've seen you on several television.
Yeah, but when I got divorced, divorce is expensive, and it kicked my ass. And I eventually started doing stand up again. And my buddy started the ship agency, and I went back on the road. But they're bringing it up because I fell back in love with stand up.
Yeah.
By being on stage, because I had different things to say.
Yes.
And as time goes by, your mind keeps growing. You're a better writer. And
yes.
you look at older bits and you go, oh shit.
Yes.
I can
fix that now.
This is where this goes. Yeah,
yes,
right.
I can fix it.
So and now it's like you feel alive again.
Yes.
So that's why the hanging out at the UBG came. And I was like, this is great. We're back. And that's the fun part of it.
Yeah, and I think I've told some of my friends that are older comics that have given it up that who always talk about I'm old or whatever. I go, really, you ought to explore going back and doing some stand-up because I think it adds
Sure.
years to you. I think I feel younger again that I'm up there doing that.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to extend my life. It's going to definitely keep me from going into dementia or whatever. I think because my brain is working all the time.
Right.
I mean, I think it's a healthy, even though there's a lot of angst and I have to sit through a lot of bad comics.
Yeah.
It's still healthy for my brain to be doing this again.
Right.
And I'm happy doing it.
Well, I think what helps it, or what helped me for one, was I was able to get back on. It wasn't a struggle to get stage time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I already had avenues and
Yeah.
clubs and bookings.
Yeah.
And I just added to it.
Yeah.
I just did more.
more.
And so that helped because the early on signing up and waiting or showing up and go, we're going to bump you. We're going to get up later. All of that. I won't do any of that now.
Yeah.
I've been in clubs where they'll go, we're going to bump you and we're going to put you up later. I go, okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm gone.
And they'll go, well, no, can't you
Yeah.
wait 20 minutes? I go, no, I cannot wait 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a dick.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
go, but don't tell me you're going to put me up by 10 if it's 10 and you're like, it's going to be a little bit longer. I'm not sitting around here. So
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll give them an hour if I'm hanging out. I don't give a shit.
Right.
I got stuff to do. But after a while, I go, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in these clubs till 12.
It has been hard because you feel like I paid my dues once before, and sometimes I'm repaying them now, and sometimes I do it, and sometimes I don't. But I'm like, I've done this,
Right.
and I've spent hours in comedy clubs.
Well, I think the advantage is that you have boundaries now.
Yeah.
You have your
Yeah.
own boundaries.
Yeah.
Where you're like,
I do. I mean,
somebody like, you want to go over here? And you're like, I'm not going to that club.
Oh, and I just told this booker, no thanks, I'm
Right.
not doing that. I'm not spending the night in my car or
Well, that
spending
helps a
1,200.
ton.
Yeah,
It helps a ton with the
right.
making it when you tell someone to do stand up again.
Right.
Because you have so much more control. We had
Right.
so little control early on.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You basically, you would get a handful. There were clubs there where you would walk in and everybody knew you and you could get a spot and everything was
Right,
great.
right,
And then a
right.
lot of the ones you walk in brand new and you were starting over again.
Right.
But the ones you loved the up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the down, you would fight the downs because you knew there were ups.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
You know what I mean? But that
Yeah.
makes you feel alive again.
Yeah.
But the whole fight, where you're like, I don't want to argue with the 27-year-old. That I don't.
I know.
You know what I mean? I don't have time. For
I
it.
know.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's some bookers out there who've been out there for a million years who do have a real power hungry, and they're like, this gig's it's going to pay you $150. I'm like, well, thank you, $150. And it's only going to take me 6 hours to drive there.
Yeah,
And,
right.
and I'm like, you know what? I need the stage time right now. And some of that I'll do. But if they really cop an attitude and I'm like, you know what? Nice knowing you. I'm sure you're a lovely person, but I really don't want to deal with that.
Right. Well, I've had a few of this too, where they'll make you an offer. Like, it used to be about filling your calendar. You know what I mean? It used to be, I want to fill a date. So I would have a week off, and someone would go, I heard you're off this week. I go, yeah. I have a Thursday nights at, what's that, this town in Arizona or something? Kingman, maybe? I had Thursday night in Kingman. There's no room, but you can get a free meal, and it pays you like $200. I go, I'm not driving to Kingman for $200.
And then you can have a hotel. Your hotel's going to cost you.
Right.
That's what I don't understand.
And like, why don't you just go with another comic? You can bring them with you, and then they can. And I go, no, I don't have to do all of that shit anymore.
No, I don't want to do it. And that's what's interesting, and that's why I think I worry about the industry getting so bad because there are people willing to do that.
Right.
And if comics don't say no, and I feel like in a way I'm helping other comics when I say no, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
I will not work for that little amount and spend that much money on hotel and driving and a rent car or whatever it is. And I'm a professional comic. I have TV credits. No, thank you.
Right. Well, a lot of them don't care. It's like we talked about earlier today. It's not about working on your act. They don't give. It's not stage time. It doesn't really mean that much to them. They can go anywhere in this town. Yeah, there we go. Hang on a second. That's not, my battery was dying. I was trying to
Oh,
get through it.
okay.
No, we're fine. It's really quick. Do you mind if I reload
No,
the battery?
no,
All right, thanks. This is going cool. I don't want to just end like that. All right, so I could have wrapped it up 5 minutes ago, but we were
Well,
on a roll.
it's just fun to have a conversation with somebody who's. I think it's because you're in my age group.
No, it's 100%. And we started around the same time, so our mindsets were the same.
Right.
Exact.
But I didn't meet you until a few years ago. I'd always heard of you. But I'd never met you.
Shit, sorry about that. Try to tell you my battery's good. Yes, full battery. Full battery. All right.
So I guess you do a little editing on these.
Yes, yeah, for sure. we go. Let me
Okay.
pick right back up where we were. We were talking. It was we were talking about Kingman. Here's why. It's not about stage time anymore. Because people can go anywhere in this town and get 5 or 10 minutes in the smallest, shittiest bar in the world with barely anyone in it. Take the tripod, set it up in front of the stage. How many times did they do the UBG? Guys at the table right in front.
Right.
And it didn't matter about... You remember in the old days when we made a tape, you wanted to have it in the back so you could see the crowd and get crowd laugh?
Yes.
Now none of that shit matters because, first of all, they don't need a 10-minute demo tape.
Yeah.
They just need 2 minutes to put on socials.
A clip.
And that's all they care about. They don't work...
Yeah.
It's not about making the joke perfect. It's not about that. And it's about getting the likes, the follows.
Right.
Because they can make money. Like, I mean, I'm chasing this internet fucking thing constantly with my videos and my content and all of that stuff because I'm trying to get demonetize everything online.
Right,
and
right.
other guys that are way younger than me are monetized already, but don't have an act.
Yeah.
And I'm not really knocking them because they're making a living.
Yeah.
But you don't have to drive to Kingman for $400 or $200 or $100 anymore.
Right.
You know, you can
That's
just
true.
tape something, put it online, get some likes, and now that's it.
Yeah.
But then you can get a spot at the fucking improv.
Yeah.
Or a show because you've got X
You've got
amount of
so many followers.
Yeah.
Well, but that's what's that's depressing though. I'll look at people who have, millions of followers, and then I've done a show with some of these people, and I'm like, wow.
Right. Yeah, but you don't like one of the things.
Wow.
Zanies in Chicago. Other clubs might be doing this, but I think Zanies in Chicago has marketed this brilliantly. It used to be when you book Zanies in Chicago, you work 6 nights, Tuesday through Sunday, as that you headlined all night long, 9 shows, whatever it was. Then they eventually changed it. Now what they do, they'll have big names on the weekends and some other stuff, but they'll do individual nights for one person. And they'll have a show, and if you can fill the room for one night, then you get the show for that night. So who's to knock A, the club for filling the room, B, the act for filling their fan base,
True.
200 people and doing one show. But the plus is that person or that act isn't there 4 nights. They usually they kill one show,
Right.
and then they eat it for 3 nights.
Right.
So Zanies is like, well, fuck it, why don't we just have one night?
Take advantage of
And
getting
then-
them packed in.
Sure,
Yeah.
and there's so
Yeah.
much talent in Chicago
Yeah.
and so many different kinds
Oh,
of
God,
comedy
yeah.
that you can have
Chicago's
different acts
great.
every night.
Yeah.
And some will have 2 nights, some will have 3 nights.
Right.
And
Right.
Chicago's got a huge, WGN is a huge, there's 4 comics that work on there. Mike Toomey's on there, a bunch of other guys. And they'll
Yeah.
do the Mike Toomey night or the weekend. And
Yeah.
so that's how they do it. I think
Yeah.
it's a brilliant way to market
Yeah.
the likes
Yeah.
thing.
Right,
But then,
right.
because it used to be when the first started, you book a guy with a lot of likes for a week and they did 1 or 2 good shows. And then the Saturday night late show, you're like, what the fuck is...
Nobody was there.
Nobody's here,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
they're eating it in front of a
Right.
packed room
Right.
of people
Right.
that are not their fan base.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Which goes back to working a room. But
Yes.
if you want to be the
Yes.
act that doesn't do that, then that's fine. If you
Yeah.
want to market yourself and build yourself that way.
Right.
And I
Right.
think Zani's found a brilliant way to
do
keep
it.
it alive.
Yeah. It makes sense because the old model. I do miss the old model, and I love the old model of the opener, which is probably a local person, and the good up and coming feature and the really strong headliner, and you're there all week. Tuesday
Right.
through Saturday or Sunday, depending on the club.
Yeah.
2 shows on Saturday night. God, Funny Bones, we did 3 shows on Saturday night.
Yeah, Zanies did.
and that was hard.
Well, Zani's did
It was
for-
hard to do
for-
3 shows.
For a while, Zani's was doing 3 on Friday, 3 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. So you would do 5 over the weekend.
That's a lot.
Oh my God, it was so draining.
Yeah,
It was
because
just
I
draining.
would tell a joke and I go, didn't I just do this?
Yeah, that was when it was really confusing.
Oh
You were
yes,
like, oh
my
God,
brain would just get
right.
fried, and I would look at the headliner going, "How do you do it?" Because that's so much more time than I was doing, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't know how you're doing that."
And even then, I would take a nap between the second and third show, just
Yeah.
like a 10-minute nap.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm only in my 30s. I'm like, what is wrong with
I
me?
know, no, but it's just it's
It's so draining to talk. Well, the mindset of a comic is like, can't remember who I talked about this in a pod recently, but people, it's draining.
yeah,
People don't really. If you do a 1 hour show,
Yeah.
you're telling your jokes, you're thinking about your jokes, you're setting them up in your head, you're trying to be in the moment, you're reading the room, you know what I mean?
Yes.
All this is going through your mind.
yeah.
And you're thinking about the last joke that didn't work. Do I want to try? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. Do I want to move that around? Yeah.
Right.
No.
So you do that for 3 hours a
Yeah.
night. It's a lot.
Well, I liken it to I used to do training for lawyers. We would do deposition practice.
Yeah.
And so you're pretending to be somebody, a plaintiff or a
right.
defendant.
Oh, role playing or whatever.
Yeah, right. And role play. And those associates would be so exhausted by the end of the day.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
And I'm like, I said, it's just like public speaking. I said, this is hard. They were like, oh, my brain. I go, I know, you're tired.
You're trained.
You're tired. And like, oh, I don't think I want to do this for a living.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you're not doing depositions all the time. But
Yeah, right.
it's just killer.
Right.
Yeah. It's your brain has to be on, and you can't really take a second to rethink anything. And it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's draining.
Yeah.
All right, well, we can wrap up now. Now
Okay.
I feel better that we did this.
Okay.
Thank you for driving here, by the way.
No, but I don't live that. I live in the Calabasas area. It's not that
Still,
far.
it was nice to have a real comic on here for a while. You know what I mean? Sit down and talk about, some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And the changes that we're trying to adapt to.
Right,
That are happening to
right.
us while we, you know what I mean, while we're working.
As we miss our industry.
Yeah. Well, I look at it like TV going or radio going to TV.
Yeah,
If you don't evolve with the business a little bit, it's not going to change.
You do have to go with the flow. I
Yeah.
do. I agree with that so much, but I do get nostalgic.
Yeah. Well, there's
Yeah.
there's things that I
Yeah.
used to miss the weeks of hanging out. But you know what I don't miss is also as a week doing a gig with someone I didn't like.
Oh, that was hell.
Yeah. Or even when you were sharing a condo, you're like, well,
Yeah.
this is the
Oh, you had to be with them a whole week,
Ugh.
and you're like, oh, I didn't understand that until I went on the road, because the comic I dated in Houston, who was a headliner and traveling everywhere, and he would always get depressed, and I go, you have the greatest job in the world. You're just flying to these cities, and you have nothing to do during the day. And he goes, no, you have to hang out with people you don't like. You're bored. And then when I started doing it, I called him. I go, oh my God, you're right.
You're
This
so
is
right.
hell.
This is brutal.
You're right.
We were doing a show in Little Rock once. There's another Jeff Jones gig. This is a long time ago. I worked with a guy named Dan Rock. I don't know where he's at anymore. I don't think he's alive.
Oh.
He was the feature. I was the headliner.
Uh-huh.
And this kid was opening, and he was coming in from Tulsa or somewhere. Oh, he was coming from we were in Little Rock. He was coming from one of the other clubs. And Dan and I have worked together many times. We were sharing a condo over there. He comes in, he was there for the weekend. The kid comes in Thursday morning with a case of beer at 10 in the morning. Woohoo! Walks in the door. Dan's drinking coffee. I'm fucking, I'm having a bowl of cereal. He's all,
I think y'all are partiers.
Working on the road, yeah. And we're like, hey, man, how you doing? And after a couple of nights, this kid was like, you guys suck, man. He really hated us. And I go, dude, you can understand. I've been doing, at the time, I've been doing this 18 years.
Yeah,
This is what I pay for. I go, I'm having fun.
You're professional. Yeah.
And Dan, and finally, I remember it was Sunday night. Dan looked at me. He goes, do you want to take the kid out and go drink for a little bit?
Oh.
I go, yeah, let's go out for a little bit. So because that club, we used to go out Sunday nights after the shows.
Yeah.
The staff, too, everybody. And Tony and everybody.
That's
there.
nice, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. It's still a good room. They own it now. The club owns it after Jeff died. But, we went out. The kid got hammered. It was a good time, and I drank.
And that's the experience he wanted. Yeah.
I mean, I was still drinking back then, but it was, or I'm still drinking now, but I was partying back then, but I wasn't showing up and pounding drinks before shows.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wow. Oh God, I can't do that. I can't drink before a show.
No, I did when I was way younger.
I did a little bit when I was younger, but even then, I think my timing was. I mean, I
stopped when I started doing ships because it's in the contract. You're not supposed to perform.
Ah.
So I started working without drinking at all, and then I kind of really I dug it. I'm like, this is great. I liked it. Because I could pay more attention to my act.
Yeah.
I could tape shows.
Yeah.
And now I don't drink before shows almost ever.
Yeah.
Like never. Like short sets I might.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for a full show, I won't. I usually
Yeah.
don't drink a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll just drink nothing. More than anything, I go to the gym, drink water. You know what I mean?
Exercising before a show is good.
That's a big deal. I'll do that for sure.
Yeah.
It's a great way to get endorphins out.
Yeah. Get your blood in your brain.
Yes. And then maybe a protein shake. You know what I mean?
Protein shake is good.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
It's a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
All right,
cool.
whatever you want to plug, we're going to be tomorrow at the Chateau, but
Both
this
of
is
us-
not going up today.
Oh, okay. Well,
This
both
is
of
going
us
up
are
next Tuesday.
Both of us are at the Chateau Friday night,
so
Saturday night.
It went great, by the way. It went. we
killed.
crushed. We both crushed. It was fucking dynamite.
Tuesday night, I am doing a gig. I'm at Jade on the Water in Long Beach.
Okay, plug it right to the camera. Yeah,
Yeah, Jade. There's no cover. It's a beautiful Chinese restaurant. It's run by Cosmic Comedy. I think it starts at 7. But Jade on the Water in Long Beach, and it's a good show.
Okay.
So yeah.
There we go. All right. And any socials or anything else you want to plug?
Follow me on @Brenda Pontiff on Instagram. And here's the thing. Here's what I've been. Strangers will like your stuff more than your friends do, and I get all upset. Like, I don't know these people. They're liking my stuff, and my friends probably, I've seen this before. I'm like, but I want you to like it.
But just throw a thumbs up. I need the likes.
I need it.
Why would sometimes I do this podcast live, and I'll have a bunch of people watching, and I'll look down and I go, hey, great to see there's like 40 people watching.
Yeah.
I've only got 3 likes. What?
What? Yeah,
guys,
come on.
I got 8 people I went to high school with, guys. Just hit the like
it
button.
It doesn't hurt you to do that.
Yeah, it actually helps me a lot, believe it or not.
I need it.
That's how sad is that?
I know but
So please like me. Now I have to verbally fucking tell you. I have to verbally tell you to digitally like me.
I know.
This
it's
is
sad.
such a fucked up business. Should have quit years ago. All right, Brenda Pontiff,
thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Thanks. You're still watching? That's amazing. Nobody does that. Nobody, but you did. That means you want more. Pick one of these clips. Go for it. I dare you. Hey, also follow one of those social media thingies.